The why. The psychological engine room. Why does it work? It taps into three primal human wires. One, the cocktail party effect. Your brain is hardwired to perk up when it hears its name. In a noisy room, you could be deep in conversation, but if someone says your name, your attention snaps to it like a homing missile. Salespeople are creating a noisy room of features, benefits, and pricing, and then they fire the missile, your name, to grab your drifting attention and force you back into the moment. 2. The illusion of intimacy and rapport. Hearing your name from a stranger creates a bizarre cognitive dissonance. Your subconscious thinks, a stranger knows my name, they must not be a stranger, we must have a connection. It artificially fast-forwards the relationship. They haven't earned your trust. They've just downloaded the cheat code to simulate it. It's a psychological shortcut, a hack to bypass your rational defenses and make you feel on a gut level that this person likes you and knows you. 3. The obligation of reciprocity. This is the dark heart of it. When someone uses your name, it feels personal, like a small gift. It feels like they've made an effort. And human social programming dictates that when someone gives you something, you feel compelled to give something back. In this case, what you're subconsciously pressured to return is your attention, your trust, and eventually your signature on the dotted line. The carpet and the Cobra. Let me tell you about the time I almost bought a carpet I didn't need from a man whose name I can't remember but who knew mine with the terrifying intimacy of a long-lost relative. I was 23, living in my first apartment that wasn't a student hovel. It had actual floors, not just sticky linoleum. One Saturday, a charming, impeccably dressed man set up a stall in the mall selling hand-woven artisan rugs from the mountains of wherever the hell I was bored. He was good. "Sir," he began, "just look at the weave on this piece." I nodded politely. A minute later, "You have a good eye, my friend. What's your name?" "Alex," I said, like a fool handing over the keys to my bank account. "Alex, a strong name, classic. Now, Alex, feel this texture. See how the light catches it? You don't find craftsmanship like this every day, do you, Alex?" It was a verbal strobe light. Flash, the carpet, flash, my name, flash, the carpet, flash, my name. My brain was being rewired in real time. The value was no longer in the rug, it was in the way he made me feel. Seen, important, named. He wasn't just selling me a floor covering, he was selling me a version of myself that appreciated hand-woven artisan rugs. A sophisticated, rug-appreciating Alex. Who was this guy? I liked him. He got me. The climax came when he leaned in, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Alex, between you and me, I'm not even supposed to offer this price today, but I can see you're a man who values quality." I was moments from financial ruin for a 5x7-foot woolen rectangle. I was ready to become rug guy. It was my new identity, gifted to me by a master manipulator. Then, my then-girlfriend, now wife, who had been silently observing this psychological dismantling with growing horror, grabbed my arm. "Alex, we have to go, now!" She used my name, but it was a different kind of use. It was a lifeline, a code breaker. It was my real name from someone who actually knew me, cutting through the artificial intimacy like a knife. I blinked. I was just me again, a guy in a mall being hustled by a carpet cobra. I muttered an excuse and practically ran away, the salesman's final desperate, "Alex, wait, let's talk!" echoing behind me. I didn't buy the rug, but I bought a lifelong lesson in the dark art of the name game. The telltale signs, the manipulation in action. The overuse is so transparent it becomes darkly comedic, a bizarre verbal tic that transforms a conversation into a passive-aggressive hostage situation. The sentence stuffer. So, as we look at this scalable solution, Alex, for your pain points, Alex, we can integrate seamlessly, Alex, with your existing workflow. It's like they're trying to season a bland sentence with name flakes for extra flavor. The forced rapport master. "You're from Seattle, Alex. I love Seattle, Alex. The coffee, Alex. The space needle, Alex." They're just checking boxes on a building rapport flowchart they learned in a 1992 sales seminar. The "we're in this together" gambit. "Where do we go from here, Alex? What's our next step, Alex?" No, Kevin from SaaS Solutions. There is no we. There is you trying to hit your quarterly quota, and me who just wanted a free trial. The signature ploy, the ultimate power move, leaning over the contract, pen poised. And you just sign right there, Alex. Perfect. A pleasure doing business with you, Alex. It's the final Ju hypnosis, linking your identity directly to the act of compliance. The advanced techniques, beyond simple repetition. A rookie salesperson just crams your name into every sentence. A true artist, a virtuoso of manipulation, uses it with precision and timing. They are psychological snipers, not machine gunners. The power inflection. It's not just saying your name, it's how they say it. The slight drop in tone, the softening of the voice, the pause for emphasis. So, Alex, this is where we separate the dreamers from the doers. It's a verbal spotlight, making you the star of a movie they're directing. It feels profound, but it's a pre-programmed gesture, like an animatronic pirate at a theme park. The associative anchor. This is where it gets diabolical. They anchor your name to a positive emotional state or a desired outcome. Imagine how much peace of mind you'll have, Alex, once this system is in place. Or, this is the kind of decision that defines a leader, Alex. They are literally wiring your sense of self to their product. You're not just buying security software, you're buying the identity of a man with peace of mind named Alex. The product becomes secondary to the version of you they're selling back to yourself. The false dichotomy play. They use your name to frame a choice, making their preferred option the only sane one. Look, Alex, you can either keep dealing with these constant headaches, these endless repairs, or we can make this problem disappear today. Which makes more sense for you, Alex? Your name is used to personalize the stupid option, making it feel like a personal failing to even consider it. The assumptive close with name injection, the classic "when would be a good time for installation," becomes 1,000 times more potent when preceded by, "So Alex, once we get this finalized, our team can get it scheduled. What does your next week look like?" The use of your name before the assumptive close makes the assumption feel like a collaborative, agreed-upon fact between friends. The corporate Jedi. Years after the carpet Cobra, I found myself in a corporate meeting. I was on the buying side now, evaluating a potential software vendor for a 6-figure contract. Their lead salesperson, let's call him Mark, was a legend. He didn't look like a salesman. He looked like a wise, slightly tired professor who had seen it all. The meeting was a masterclass. He didn't open with names. For the first 20 minutes, he asked brilliant, incisive questions. He understood our problems better than we did. He earned our respect legitimately. He was building real rapport. Then, once he had established genuine credibility, he began to deploy the name, not like a hammer, but like a scalpel. "Sarah," he'd say, turning to my colleague, "you mentioned the reporting lag. That must be a nightmare for your quarterly reviews." He'd nod, validating her pain. Then to me, "Alex, from a strategic standpoint, that inefficiency is what's keeping your team from the high-value work you mentioned earlier, isn't it?" He wasn't using our names to create rapport. He was using them to cement the rapport he had already built. It was infinitely more powerful. He was taking the truth of our situation and personally inscribing our names onto it. He was making the problem, and by extension the solution, ours in the most intimate way. The dark humor came from the sheer artistry of it. I could see the mechanics, the gleaming gears turning behind his eyes, and I had to admire it. He was a corporate Jedi using the Force for a quarterly bonus. He was so good that even when I recognized the tactic, it still worked. I felt seen, understood, and expertly guided. We almost signed with him. We didn't because of price, not technique. I left that meeting feeling like I'd been outplayed by a grandmaster. And the only thing funnier than that was the fact that part of me was flattered. The sociopathic flattery. The peak of the dark comedy is when the use of your name becomes so utterly disconnected from reality that it loops back around to being hilarious. The rememberer. The salesperson who sees your name on a Zoom call and 5 minutes after the meeting ends sends a connection request. "Alex, great meeting you. Really enjoyed our conversation." The conversation in which you said exactly 3 words. It's the equivalent of a one-night stand texting "Good morning, my love," before they've even left your apartment. The mispronouncer. The person who aggressively uses your name but can't be bothered to get it right. So Alec, as I was saying, it's Alex. Right, sorry, Alex. So, Alex, the value proposition. They are so committed to the tactic that they'd rather repeatedly insult you than abandon it. The child's play when you realize this isn't some advanced neurolinguistic programming. It's the same trick a 5-year-old uses when they want a cookie. "Mommy, Mommy, you're the best mommy in the whole world, Mommy. Can I have a cookie, Mommy?" The only difference is the 5-year-old is more sincere. The hunger for being seen. The reason the name game is so effective and so dark is that it exploits a fundamental human hunger, the desire to be seen, to be acknowledged as a unique individual in a world that often makes us feel like numbers. The manipulator offers a cheap, counterfeit version of that recognition. It's psychological fast food. It feels good for a second, but leaves you malnourished and vaguely ashamed for having consumed it. The ultimate defense, beyond the tactics listed before, is to truly know your own value. When you are secure in your own identity, when you don't need a stranger to validate your existence by chanting your name, their power vanishes. The incantation fails, the spell breaks. You can then sit back, enjoy the bizarre performance, and decide if you want to buy what they're actually selling, separated from the puppet show they're performing with your own name. You can appreciate the dark art without ever having to purchase the masterpiece. The ecosystem of overuse. It's not just sales. The salesperson is just the most obvious predator in this jungle. The name game is the lingua franca of anyone who needs something from you but lacks the time, authority, or authenticity to earn it properly. The corporate leadership cultivator, the middle manager who sends a blast email that begins, "Hi, Alex team. As we continue our journey towards synergistic excellence," they've used your name to create the illusion of a personal address, hoping you won't notice the corporate copy-paste drivel that follows. It's spam in a bespoke suit. The politician working the rope line, the most grotesque public display of the tactic, the fixed smile, the frantic eye contact, the pumping of hands. "Mary, good to see you. Jim, thanks for coming out. Linda, we're going to fight for you." It's a verbal assembly line, a total devaluation of the currency of a name. You are not a person, you are a vote-shaped object to be tagged and processed. The cult leader guru, the ultimate endgame. Here, the use of your name is weaponized to dismantle your identity and rebuild it in their image. Alex is struggling with doubt. Alex is attached to his ego. But we understand. We can help Alex become who he is truly meant to be. Your name is no longer a tag for you, it's a label on a jar containing your flaws, which they promise to fix. It's psychological ownership. The aftermath and the hangover. What makes this truly dark is the emotional hangover it leaves, both for the target and, if they have a shred of soul, the perpetrator. For the target, the feeling of being cheapened. You feel vaguely dirty, like you've participated in a transaction you didn't fully consent to. You were flattered, then you feel foolish for being flattered. A part of your identity, your very name, feels temporarily stained, used. You need to go home and say your own name out loud to yourself just to reclaim it. For the perpetrator, the self-aware one, imagine the existential horror of their job. The self-aware salesperson must confront the fact that their success is predicated on a deliberate, calculated manipulation of human wiring. They must go home after a day of saying Alex with feigned warmth 50 times and look in the mirror. Who are they? Are they liked for them or for their technique? They become a parasite not just on their customers, but on their own authenticity. Every "For Susan, great to hear from you," is a small death of the self. This is why the best salespeople either have no introspection or become philosophical nihilists, laughing bitterly into their coffee. We all do it. The darkest joke of all is that we are all guilty of it. We are all at times amateur carpet cobras. You use your boss's name a little more when you need a day off. "Barbara, I was hoping to talk to you about that." You compliment your partner's hair before asking them to do the dishes. "Wow, honey, your hair looks amazing today. Hey, sweetie, could you..." You scroll through LinkedIn and see a post. "So grateful to Mark Smith for the introduction to Lisa Jones. Lisa, your insights on vertical SaaS integration were groundbreaking." It's a spectrum of human interaction, from the benign and semi-sincere to the ruthlessly manipulative. The name game works because it is a distorted, weaponized reflection of a real human need to connect, to acknowledge, to see and be seen. The difference between a healthy relationship and manipulation is the same as the difference between a home-cooked meal and a vending machine snack. One is nourishing, built with time and care. The other is designed in a lab to hit your pleasure centers with maximum efficiency, leaving you ultimately malnourished but craving more. So the next time you hear your name used with a little too much frequency, a little too much unearned warmth, you can smile, see the machinery, appreciate the dark art, and then decide if you want to step into their narrative or if you'd rather just be you, unnamed, unclaimed, and gloriously free from their script.